Weeds are the silent thieves of the garden. They creep in when moisture is high, when soil is bare, and when nutrients are up for grabs. Most gardeners spend countless hours pulling, hoeing, and battling weeds only to watch them return again. But what if there was a way to smother weeds before they even had a chance, while at the same time feeding soil microbes, holding moisture, and building fertility? That's exactly what one simple but powerful lazy gardening method can do. It's not about pulling weeds, it's about outsmarting them with a layered barrier that keeps the soil covered and alive. And the results are clear. Beds stay clean, crops thrive, and the backache of weeding is gone. The secret isn't chemicals, it's layering. Weeds only appear because nature hates bare ground. Every patch of exposed soil is an invitation for opportunistic seeds to sprout. Instead of fighting that natural urge, the trick is to mimic nature and keep soil covered. The lazy layer that works best combines a sheet barrier and an organic topping. At its core, it's simple. First, block the sunlight from reaching the weed seeds, then feed the soil life that eventually eats down the barrier into humus. By doing this, weeds are not just suppressed, they are locked out long enough for crops to take control. The barrier material most gardeners reach for is cardboard. Unlike plastic, it breaks down naturally, holds moisture, and is easy to source for free. One layer of plain brown cardboard laid directly over damp soil creates an instant stop sign for weeds. The key is to overlap each sheet by at least 6 inches so no gaps are left. Weeds are masters of finding sunlight, and if even a small seam is left exposed, they will push through. Think of it like shingles on a roof. Tight overlaps mean no leaks of light. Cardboard on its own will block weeds, but if it's left uncovered, it can dry out, curl, or even, blow away. This is where the second part of the lazy layer comes in. Organic matter piled on top to keep the barrier in place and kickstart soil life. The most effective topping is actually a mixture of compost and mulch. Compost adds nutrients and inoculates the cardboard with microbes that help it decompose, while mulch insulates the whole system and, prevents sunlight from sneaking through. So, a practical ratio to follow is just about 1 inch of compost, spread evenly across the cardboard, and then, add 2 to 4 inches of mulch on top. Mulch can be straw, shredded leaves, or wood chips, depending on what's available locally. For this lazy layer method to really work without fail, timing and water are absolutely critical. Always water the soil before laying down your cardboard. This softens the ground, traps moisture under the barrier, and helps encourage worms to rise up and feed on the breaking down layer. After the cardboard is laid and covered, go ahead and water again to soak the entire stack. A dry layer will just sit there, but a moist one, that'll wake up fungi, bacteria, and all those soil critters that do the actual work of decomposition. If you're starting a new bed in spring, try to lay the layers at least 2 weeks before planting, so the cardboard has some time to soften up. For summer plantings, you'll want to wet the cardboard more heavily and cover it with a slightly thinner mulch to help prevent overheating the soil. And in autumn, when weeds are slowing down, a thicker mulch layer is just ideal, since it can sit over winter and break down into perfect planting soil by spring. One of the most surprising parts of this method is that you can actually plant crops straight into it, without waiting for the cardboard to fully decompose. So to do this, just cut a hole or a slit in the cardboard where you want each plant to go, pull back the compost and mulch, and then tuck the seedlings' roots right into the soil below. After that, go ahead and replace the compost and mulch snugly around the base. As the roots push down, they'll travel through the softened cardboard and into the damp soil beneath. For direct seeding of smaller crops like carrots or lettuce, It's honestly easier to create a trench of compost above the cardboard and sow into that strip. The seeds will germinate in the compost, while the cardboard keeps weed seeds below from ever reaching the surface. So, a single cardboard and mulch layer can actually suppress weeds for, about 6 to 8 months and sometimes even longer depending on how thick you make it. Over time, worms will start chewing through the cardboard, fungi will colonize it, and eventually it turns into this dark, crumbly humus. And this, honestly, is the hidden benefit. While you're saving yourself from pulling weeds, you're also building a soil layer that becomes, well, permanent fertility. After a season, you'll notice the cardboard is mostly gone and the mulch is partially broken down, leaving behind a rich topsoil that's just ready for the next cycle. At that point, you can simply refresh the system by adding a new mulch layer on top. Cardboard isn't always needed every season. Once the soil has been well fed and the weed seed bank is depleted, mulch alone may be enough. In raised beds, this method is straightforward since you can cut cardboard to fit the base and pile your compost and mulch right on top. In open ground gardens, you can cover entire rows with long sheets of cardboard, planting only in designated spots, and weeds simply never appear in the pathways. For perennial areas like berry patches or orchard trees, layering around the base with a wide ring of cardboard and mulch not only smothers weeds but also keeps the root zone moist and fed. A circle about 3 feet wide around each tree with a 4-inch mulch topping can reduce maintenance almost entirely for the season. The lazy layer isn't just a shortcut, it's a soil building strategy. Weeds are suppressed, but at the same time microbial diversity skyrockets under the mulch. Earthworms multiply as they are drawn to the moist, decomposing cardboard. Fungal networks stretch through the cardboard and mulch, weaving fertility through the soil. Water retention improves dramatically. Beds stay moist even through hot spells, and as the system matures, you'll find that crops simply grow faster and healthier than they did in bare, weed-infested soil. So it's a shift from fighting weeds to, well, farming microbes. Instead of expending endless energy on pulling, you're actually directing that energy into building a living cover that handles the job for you. The idea of never pulling weeds might sound impossible until you try this lazy layer for yourself. Just a few sheets of cardboard, a topping of compost, a blanket of mulch, and suddenly the garden changes. Beds stay clear, soil comes alive, and harvests come without the frustration of constant maintenance. If you've been battling weeds year after year, give this method a try. Honestly, it's one of the most effective, low-effort solutions any gardener can use, and the payoff is healthier soil and more time to actually enjoy the garden instead of working against it. For more soil-saving tricks and lazy gardeners methods like this, go ahead and subscribe to Hydrohaven and share this video with fellow gardeners. Together we can spread these shortcuts that make gardening not only easier, but far more productive.